Welcome to Field Forward, the ultimate A to Z podcast for field operation professionals. In this podcast, we will explore the latest trends, strategies, and top tips for optimizing productivity and efficiency in industrial organizations. I'm your host, Cihat Kahraman, the CEO and co-founder of VSight. Today, for this episode, we are truly excited to have our guest from Epson, one of the leading smart glasses producer. We will be discussing the world of smart glasses, the implications on industrial organizations, and also the challenges and much more. Joining us, Marc-Antoine Godfroid, manager of EMEA from Epson. Welcome, Marc-Antoine.
Hello everyone. Really happy to join you today.
Very happy to have you here. Marc-Antoine, can you tell us about yourself and how did you get into Epson? What was your journey about, please?
Sure. So I joined Epson Europe in September 2012 as a product manager for the first generation of the Moverio augmented reality smart glasses. And so I joined because I've been very interested in the technology that Epson created, and especially that early. When we think about it, it was quite a long time ago already.
May I ask, was that BT100,
Correct.
the one that was very bulky? Still, we have
Correct.
one in the office that, like,
Yeah.
we also started all the process of VSight with that model. By the way,
Yeah,
it has a special kind of place in our heart.
great. Yeah, it was a great innovative product. Of course, a bit limited as a first generation device, but having this concept available at that time and in this form was quite breakthrough, let's say. And so we've been really a pioneer of augmented reality smart glasses, and the concept of the BT100 remained the same. It has just been, of course, much improved in the next years. And so that's what I've been working on with Epson Europe, basically working with our headquarters in Japan to set the strategy for the European market and feedback the comments from our customers and partners about the devices. And so we can update the products over the years and refine the use case we want to address. And so, yeah, now I'm in charge of the new market development team that is managing all the aspects of the Moverio smart glasses in EMEA.
Cool. Welcome again. Even right now on the meetings, etc., when we mention about Epson, everyone is like, "Isn't Epson a printer company or scanner company?" So it is very interesting for them to hear that, like, actually Epson also produces the smart glasses. So I think this is very remarkable coming from not only that, but the projectors, and I think that expertise is quite something for also delivering the functionality in the smart glasses, right?
Exactly, yeah. This is really the link between Epson and the AR smart glasses is that Epson have been the number one global projector manufacturers for more than 20 years now.
Wow.
And it's this expertise in this technology that really enabled us to be a pioneer on the smart glasses market. Because when you think about it, our Moverio smart glasses are a kind of new projector that we are going to put on the face instead of a wall or a ceiling like you would mount standard projectors.
Amazing. No, really, that is something. But I mean, it means that there is a market for smart glasses. So, Mark, do you have any kind of figures to illustrate some potential about the market, about industrial smart glasses market? Like, for example, what is the growth rate, like the projected market size for next 5 years, etc. Do you have anything about that?
We do. So of course, yeah, there is a very important potential for augmented reality and smart glasses. We play an important role for that. We are addressing different use cases, different markets. So there are many things, let's say, to consider. But if we look at the industrial sector, which is still the main market opportunity for smart glasses today, and the main adopter of the technology, we can find some very interesting data. So we have been working with IDC, a large research company, last summer, so to check for some data about the market opportunity. And so, yeah, in May 2022, we are working with IDC to value the market potential of the use case we want to address with our industrial offering. And we found out some very interesting data in our discussion. IDC were projected that by 2024, the B2B augmented reality market in Europe will reach almost 3 billion US dollar in value. So that's the overall B2B augmented reality market. And what is really interesting is that out of those 3 billion, almost one third, so around 1 billion, will come from the industrial sector. So with the manufacturing, uh, resource industry, and the construction industries. So really pure industrial sector that have been really one of the biggest investors in the technology, that continue to be, with around 1 billion to be invested in 2024. It's really on a growth phase, because there has been around 30% increase following the COVID crisis, which has been an important leverage for increasing the usage of AR smart glasses, especially during the lockdowns. And so based on the use case we address, but we'll discuss a bit later. So there's
Cool,
been
cool.
like lots of interest from the companies to integrate that. And what is really interesting as well is that out of those data, IDC were also valuing the maintenance and training use case to be really one of the primary use case for adoption of AR, of B2B AR, with around 20% of the overall investment to come for those use cases. So really we can see a very important trend for the adoption of AR smart glasses, and especially we are well positioned with our industrial offering to address that interest, and hope to continue to help push the market forward as well with our unique technology.
Amazing, amazing. But still, like for example, right now when we go to the market, when we talk with the prospects, etc., still there is that kind of the mixed feelings about the concepts of smart glasses, about AR glasses, etc. So, like, can you tell from your perspective what is the difference here, and where does Epson Moverio smart glasses stand? So, what does it mean for you?
Okay. So yeah, there are now different terms. So of course it can create a little bit some confusion. So when we look at the extended reality market landscape, which is the term that's going to englobe AR and VR technology, augmented reality, virtual reality, so we can see different sub-terms. So the big, let's say, terms to understand, it's AR versus VR, of course. And on our side at Epson, we are really going to focus on the augmented reality part. So our products offer what we call binocular see-through displays. It means they are not blocking the view. They enable you to add a layer of information on what you're seeing. And so now we can see more and more terms like assisted reality, mixed reality. So it's different level of technology. I think the basic definition of AR from the dictionary is to overlay computer generated image on a view of the real world for the user. So that's what we are really focusing on. Uh, I think we see a new type of devices on the mixed reality term. So that's going to be more like the virtual reality headsets that use cameras to reproduce the real world and augment it in some way, but that will be for very different applications, especially for the use case we address at Epson. A transparent display will remain key, especially on the industrial sector, because you need to be able to see with your own eyes uh, the surrounding for safety reason, and for so in this case the augmented reality devices remain really important. And then, yeah, we are offered this kind of powerful technology that really enable augmented reality. So as opposed to simpler products, that's called, that are more like the monocular products, that are more like a small display somewhere in the field of view, in the surrounding vision, which can be good for some project, but of course, what you can display and how you can use this information will be a bit more limited than having a full-fledged augmented reality display. And so that's what we have been focusing on since the beginning, and that we are really trying to continue to push and to improve to achieve the potential that the market has about the expectation that the market has about AR.
Amazing. Like, I mean, from the market, I mean, we are watching all kind of smart glasses, all kind of use cases. Usually, the use cases that are very interesting for me are coming from Epson. I must say, like, very, very different types. And lately, we were also discussing with you. You mentioned the term of experience. So I think that's playing a big role on the, especially Moverio smart glasses with the quality of the image that is projected. So I think that's playing a big role. But talking about the use cases and different applications, what are like some real world examples where Epson smart glasses, Moverio smart glasses are being used in industries? How the market is kind of like emerging towards you?
So we have two main applications for the industrial use case. So it's going to be about remote assistance, so providing assistance to on-site technicians remotely and guiding them using the camera of the device and uh, the AR display to give him visual indication as well to the user, like circles around the part, the button he needs to push, for instance. So that's still the number one use case we see for our Moverio smart glasses. And there is really a growing interest to implement now what we call digital workflows, which is something that has been there for some time already, but we see a growing interest in this field, especially for improving the training processes. So that's going to be a great use case to overcome some of the challenges of that the companies have today. Let's say removing travel is really one the big problematic that is being solved with remote assistance, and that's why it has been uh, let's say increasing a lot after during the COVID crisis. And workflow guidance, it's going to be about solving what is called the skills shortage, for instance, problematic for companies that, for instance, it's very complicated for industrial companies today to recruit skilled, experienced technicians because the market is really in high demand for those profiles. And so AR smart glasses and digital workflow solutions can be used to address that problematic, for instance, by enabling younger technicians to access very efficient training in the glasses so that they can do their job as they go by being provided with step-by-step instructions about doing something that they will learn on the task, let's say.
I think like here we are also kind of seeing how the applications are kind of emerging. I mean, I see even from the beginning of the remote assistance what could happen, and like how the industry also shaped it with different features, with recording of it and kind of valuing that recordings, for example, like later on to be able to use it for educational purposes. So I think those are not only kind of like the value add, and the main return of investment is not coming from that application itself, but also later on from the outputs of those applications. So, and obviously smart glasses, augmented reality and assisted reality is basically kind of enabling those, I would say, in the market.
Yeah, it's true. Because, for instance, also, yeah, just to enable to capture the processes, the content in a point of view
Absolutely.
way, let's say, very efficient to reproduce behind. It's yeah, part of the great things that we're seeing here.
Amazing, amazing. I want to ask you, like, I mean, this is your product, but does Epson use the smart glasses in their own manufacturing process? Is it also applicable? I would say probably yes, right? I mean, yeah.
We do, of course. Yeah, yeah. Of course, it's a really important thing to use the technology yourself that you're going to promote because first, it's very important for our product development process. So we have the chance to be a big manufacturing company, so we perfectly understand the problematics of our manufacturing customers, and so we can test the product on our own environment, let's say, to refine the features and the usability, etc. And of course, we are really convinced of the potential of this technology. So it's normal to be using it. And of course, where we are using the technology a lot today, it's our in our service and maintenance processes, for instance. So, for instance, with our so Epson makes a lot of products, and we make, for instance, industrial printers. So we have consumer printers, but we also have very big industrial printers used to produce labels or to print on textiles. So lots of great
I
technology.
have saw them, Mark. Like they are huge. They are huge.
Huge,
I
and
was
it's
amazed by the size of the machines. I was like, oh my god. So
yeah, and it's really really interesting product, and so of course complex technology, complex product, and here for instance the Moverio smart glasses are being used by our technical support team, either to for instance support remotely the field technicians of Epson, or directly the customers. When for instance, especially for instance, we have a great case study that we published recently of all our customers of the printers for the textile industry are using the smart glasses with our technical support because it's a new kind of technology, and so there is some training to be done. So the idea is that a new customer that is not really used necessarily to use that technology, he can easily connect with our technical support team when he has a question to be helped remotely. So he can solve the issue or the problem he's having very, very fast.
for a manufacturing company like Epson having facilities all around the world, I would say like this is like no brainer to not to use such a
Exactly. Yeah.
technology in the manufacturing. So yeah, I would say definitely. I mean, like also in the Moverio, you're kind of creating an ecosystem all around, like the hardware, the software, the partnerships, etc. From where like until where you go as Epson, and where do you kind of leave some room to the partners, to value added resellers, etc. Like how does that ecosystem works? I'm very curious actually. I mean, you have also resellers, you have distributors, etc. So can you mention a bit like how you combine it with the software? How do you do that?
Sure. So this ecosystem approach is extremely important for us. It's really at the heart of our strategy and our market approach. Uh, Basically, at Epson, we are really going to focus on the development of the hardware, of the smart glasses. So this is our core expertise, our core technology, and we are really working on a partnership basis with our software partners, which are really a key part of our market approach because it's of course the combination of the hardware and the software that's going to bring added value for our end customers, and so we are really striving to create an important ecosystem of partners like VSight, and we are really valuing the work that we do together. We are really trying to uh, understand their needs and reflect that in the product development as well. So making sure that we provide them with the specifications and the features that they need to create the most amazing software solutions to, in the end, bring value to our customers. And in this process, there is another type of partner that is really important for us, and it's our resellers, because the adoption of the technology will also come from a great product, but also from a great support. And that means having partners who are able to help the end customers to make the purchase decision. So help them evaluate the technology and how we can benefit them, and go through all the steps so the end customers can make the right choice and implement the technology, and then accompany them in this process. So be there as well during the deployment stage to make sure that everything is going well, but the users are getting the training they need to be able to adopt the technology, and that afterward, if there is an issue, there is also someone to help, even though we are very proud to make very qualitative products. We have very few issues, let's say, after sales issues. But if it happens, of course, then our partners are there to help the customer and make sure that whatever happens is solved rapidly and efficiently so the customers can continue using the solution.
Very nice.
So
Very nice.
it's really about having different partners with different expertise to focus on what they do best and come all together to
Leave the room
bring
to
the
each
value.
other, kind of like so that like everyone plays their best role in the process.
Exactly,
Makes
yeah.
sense, makes sense.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
every culture is also different, right? Like having the local partners that is playing the big role in the local
Exactly.
market would make the big change, I would
That's
say.
true.
No. And
That's true. And
yeah,
again,
please.
it's something where Epson, yeah, we are really happy again because we have a really global market presence. So we are proud as well to be able to help our partners locally and our customers locally as well with through our local
Amazing,
offices.
amazing. But like overall in that process, we are also seeing that like there are a lot of challenges happening on the sales process, on the adoption of the new technologies, especially for the companies that are working the same way for, let's say, 20 years. It's very hard to adapt a new technology. How do you cope with those? How do you handle those? And what are the most, like, let's say, two challenging parts that is happening a lot in the process?
So of course it's something that we are really trying to address with the product. So we've been in the market for many years, so we've been able to deploy many projects. So we have worked with many customers and our partners to deploy the technology in large scale, and so yeah, we are well aware of, let's say, some of the how can I say, questions that the customers can ask, or some of the challenges that the technology will require, let's say, to be solved to be implemented efficiently. So first, it's really a big work of working with our customers to properly reflect their feedbacks and comments into the product development. So we make the product that are going to be the most efficient, let's say, to deploy for the use case we address. So really trying to remove as many hurdles as possible from the design of the product and the functionality we're going to offer. So it means, yeah, making, for instance, for the industrial sector, especially, making a real industrial product that remains efficient in terms of performance, in terms of cost as well. So really trying to solve the big challenges of making a rugged device that remains lightweight, comfortable, easy to use. So that's the first thing really, and after it's really, yeah, trying to facilitate the adoption of the technology. So we have the chance to work on really high added value use case. So I think companies are really interested in the technology, and it's something that we've seen a big improvement over the past couple of years, let's say. So again, before the COVID and after the COVID, I think for the use case we address, there's been companies are much more knowledgeable about the solutions and the benefits of that they can take from it. So there is a lot of interest, but like you said, someone who's been doing his job in a certain way for a very long time may be a little bit reluctant to change, and so this is where, yeah, it's really important to make products that are, we are really striving to make the product that are very simple to use. So not taking the problematics from the technology point of view, but really from the benefits we want to bring to the user, and really trying to facilitate the use of the product. So from this perspective, I think we have a technology that is very efficient because it's very easy to use, very simple to set up. You just put on the glasses in front of your eyes, it works. It's very comfortable to use because the display is high quality, very efficient. So very simple to use and set up, and even on the usage perspective. So we are taking step by step as well the evolution of the technology. So right now focusing on simple experience, so through remote assistance, through simple 2D step by step instructions. uh, it's made also easy thanks to the controller of our product, which is like using a smartphone. And actually now we also enable the use of compatible smartphone via the USB-C compatibility. And I see this as a important leverage to continue the adoption of the technology, because it means those people, even if they are not the most technology savvy, for sure they are using a
Oh, for
smartphone
sure,
in
for
their daily
sure.
life. So if we can, let's say, take that and just increment the use of the smart glasses on top when you need to be hands free, of course, that's I think, yeah, a good way to get those people to really use the technology, for instance. So those are some of the things that we are putting in place, and yeah, continuing, let's say, to move forward step by step to a future where we want to have like proper, full-fledged augmented reality with 3D objects, etc. So this will take some time, and we are not rushed to get there because we want to make things right, and yeah, make sure that people are using the technology already. So it means making it simple enough for them
Simple
to
enough,
use.
yes, and also step by step, I would say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the fourth generation of the smart glasses
Correct.
of Moverio, as far as I know. So yeah, that's amazing.
Correct. Yeah.
Even that one is an amazing development. Regarding the challenges, I mean, I think I can write a book overall with the adoption of the technology. Every time, Mark, I'm saying like, okay, there can't be any other question that could be asked by the customers, but I'm amazed by every different customer about their questions about this like adoption of something new, especially working with the new technologies in that, like if they are doing all the operation in a very conventional way, I would say this is very, very hard. And one of the most asked question is about like ROI, return of investment. How do you measure that in your perspective? I'm very curious, like shortly, if you can mention that.
Yeah. So this is really coming from our customers, because it's really from one customer to the other. Like you said, the problematics can be very different. So of course it will be it can vary from one customer to the other. Uh, but yeah, we can very easily see the ROI of the solutions we're implementing on the
Mhm.
industrial sector. And I think that's why, for instance, remote assistance has been one of the first key application for AR smart glasses, because it was really benefiting from the form factor of the device to be able to be hands-free, so to receive information and do things at the same time. And it was very easy for customers to calculate a return on investment, because it's easy to compare the cost of implementing the solution, which is really not that high, let's say. It's There is no really particular barriers from this side to get started with implementing those projects. And at the same time, they can easily compare with what are the costs of sending an engineer on site, for instance. So especially they have to travel outside the country, for instance. And 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 the key thing is, of course, there is that cost, but our customers can also easily see what's the cost of a
Mhm.
downtime. So, and that's really the most important part of it, is that um, they know what kind of uh, uh, problematic can arise if they stop the production for 1 hour or 24 hours. And the thing is that sending a technician on site can take a lot of time, because you need to be available, you need to allow for the travel time, you need to book the meeting in advance. So then the time can really increase rapidly, and the potential loss then become like something crazy high.
I was using
So
this on my pitches. It was from one research. It was up to 20,000 euros per minute, the cost
that's,
of the
yeah,
downtime for big industrial organizations.
yeah, it's not surprising for some customers. Really, the costs are like really, really, really a big issue, and so that's why I think the technology is really highly valued by the customers, because uh, it really provides a good solution to trying to avoid those issues, and so that's why we continue to see a lot of traction on the industrial sector. And actually, yeah, we want to continue to really push for that, because there is still a lot to do and a lot of customers to convince to adopt the technology and adopt it in a full way. So that's what is really exciting as well, is
Absolutely.
that even in a few years, and you know it, we still, like you said, see every day new things, new challenges, and it's really interesting to help the market to continue with that those developments.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I think even the most exciting part is ahead. So I would say because new technologies are also opening some new doors where you can apply this technology and kind of make the most out of it. So I would say in that sense, the smart glasses, augmented reality, especially for industries, is making huge change. And stay tuned, let's
Mhm.
say. So it's more to come.
Yes,
Cool. Marc-Antoine, so coming to end now. So thank you very much for joining us today and sharing your insights. It was a pleasure for me to have you here, to host you,
same.
and to help us a bit of understand from binocular smart glasses perspective, like how the smart glasses market looks like. So thank you very much for this conversation. I'm very, very honored
Thank,
and very, very, very happy to have you here.
thank you to you, and yeah, really, really happy to work together to, yeah, on this market, and to continue to push the capabilities and the boundaries of the augmented reality in the industrial sector.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to our listeners, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of Field Forward by VSight. Stay tuned. There will be much more exciting discussions on the forefront of the innovation. If you like what you heard, please don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, on podcast channels, and get new episode of Field Forward every month. Also, as always, we would love to have your feedback. Leave us a comment. We will appreciate your inputs to make this show even better. And the last note, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can record and send us as a message. We will definitely feature those and answer on our next episode. Please find the link below. And yeah, thanks for listening. You just listened Field Forward, the ultimate A to Z podcast for field operation professionals. My name is Cihat Kahraman. Wishing you a wonderful day, evening, night ahead.
Thank you, everyone.